Shri Gauranga Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura BhaktiVinode Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jayo Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan. Continuing with our reading of chapter 38 of the Jaiva Dharma, where a description of the daily Leelas of Radha and Krishna are being described. The reference is Gopishwar Mahadev, who is narrating the pastimes of Radha Krishna, and this is found in the Sanat Kumar Samhita. So, as Vijay Kumar requested to know more about the process of meditation upon Radha and Krishna, Gopal Guru Goswami decides to give reference to Lord Shiva's description that is found there in the Sanat Kumar Samhita. So we read last time how it begins with meditation upon the Lord rising in the morning. He is, we'll say, cuddled with Radharani in the bowers of the groves of Braj, and the gopis, knowing that the time is getting late, wake the divine couple. Vrinda Devi sends her parrots and other birds to chirp and wake them up. And as they reluctantly separate from each other, return home, then a description of their bathing and Radharani's invitation to come and cook for Krishna is given. Then, surrounded by his friends and mother, he eats various foods. He makes his friends laugh by his various words and is made to laugh by his friends. Having eaten food and washing his mouth, he rests for a moment on an attractive cot. Dividing up betel nut offered by servants, he eats this. This describes those early morning pastimes when Krishna is awoken and then later returns home and takes his meal. Now Vijay Kumar says, can you please describe the forenoon pastimes? Gopal Guru Goswami says, now putting on the cowherd dress and putting the cows in front, Krishna goes along the path with all the people of Braj out of affection for them. Now, after having his morning breakfast and so forth, he then takes the cows out to the pasture grounds, offering respects to his mother and father and to the gopis with the corner of his eye. This refers to a signal to the gopis that I'll meet you later. But for now, let me tend to my duties here, and not wanting anyone else to notice, of course, mother or father like this, because their meeting is clandestine. So he pacifies others all appropriately and then returns and goes to he asks them all to return, go home, and then goes to the forest. Entering the forest, playing with his friends for a short time, he then fools them all and goes off with 2 or 3 Priyasakas. So they're playing, and then Krishna kind of wanders off with a few special friends, his Priyasakas, those who are very dear and know about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. He goes for an appointment with joy, eager to see his beloved Radha. When Krishna goes to the forest, Radha, after seeing him, goes home. So this is a short description. They're fully described in such books as the Govinda Leela and other Leela books given to us by our acharyas. But this is just kind of a taste of what that is. Then if one wants to meditate upon them, there's expanded forms of that. Just like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhavanamrita and like that. Govinda Leela and most famous is the Bhavanasara Sangraha of Siddha Baba of Govardhan. These describe in full length these wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and they are used for meditations or remembrance of the Lord throughout 8 parts of the day. So now Vijay Kumar asks, please describe the noon pastimes. Goswami says, he goes for an appointment with joy, eager to see his beloved Radha. When Krishna goes to the forest, Radha, after seeing him, goes home, returns home. Fooling the elders on the pretext of gathering flowers for worship of the sun god, she goes to the forest with the desire to meet Krishna. In this way, the two, after meeting with great effort, surrounded by their followers, joyfully play in the forest with various amusements. Sometimes the two mount a swing and are pushed by the Sakhis, the swing pastime. Sometimes Radha steals Krishna's flute when it drops from his hands. Krishna sometimes becomes stunned by the beauty of Radharani and drops the flute, and Radharani may steal that flute, tuck it behind, or hand it to another gopi. He searches for it and is criticized and insulted by the gopis. Mocked by them, he acts as if his very self has been stolen. Sometimes they joyfully enter a forest decorated with the spring season. There are different forests within the transcendental land of Braj, and each forest represents a different season. So whenever they desire to go to the spring season, they can go to the forest, which is the spring forest, or the winter forest, or the summer forest, like that. They sprinkle each other with water mixed with sandalwood and kumkum from syringes. The Sakhis also sprinkle them with the mixture, and Radha and Krishna sprinkle them. The two play in forests, which manifest various seasons, along with their followers, performing various pastimes suitable to each of the seasons. O best of sages, sometimes being tired, they approach the base of a tree, and sitting on the attractive seats, they drink a honey wine. Becoming drunk from that honey wine, they close their eyes from drowsiness. Holding each other's hands, they become controlled by Cupid's arrows. Desiring pleasure, they enter a bower. Stumbling on their lotus feet, because they're drunk from the honey wine, then they play like a male elephant and his mate. The Sakhis also become drunk and close their eyes with sleep. They all disappear in bowers everywhere. Krishna in one body simultaneously approaches them all individually. Each of the Sakhis go to their own bower, but Krishna manifests himself so each of them feel the pleasure of his presence. Giving them all enjoyment, he then goes to a lake with Radha and the Sakhis, like a male elephant with its herd. Narada here asks, the narration is given by Vrindadevi at this point, but narrated by Mahadev. Narada asks Vrinda, "O Vrinda, why did Krishna display power in the pastimes of sweetness? Please dispel my doubt." Vrinda says, "O sage, the strong Leela Shakti, the power of that Leela Shakti of the Lord, is full of sweetness. By that Shakti, he can play with the gopis in separate forms." In other words, he's asking that's kind of a power that the Lord expands himself, but in Braj, he displays sweetness. So yes, he expands himself so he can be with each of the gopis, but it is not a power play. It is the play of Leela Shakti, like that. He personally enjoys with Radha in his own form. The Shakti produces sweet pastimes. It does not show the Lord's power, so it's not meant to show the power form of the Lord like a Mahavishnu form or anything like that. Everything in Braj is full of sweetness. Braj is the land of sweetness. Sprinkling each other with water, along with their followers, they decorate each other with clothing and sandalwood and attractive ornaments. On the bank of the lake, in a house made of attractive jewels, they eat fruits and roots prepared by me, she says. Vrindadevi speaking. Krishna first eats what Radha gives him. Served by 2 or 3 other Sakhis, he goes then to a bed made of flowers. Offered betel nut, fanned, and having his feet massaged by eager Sakis, he is pleased, and his mind begins to remember Shri Radha. When Krishna sleeps, Radha and her friends, joyfully within, pleased in mind, eat what has been left by Krishna. After eating a little, Radha goes to the sleeping room to see the lotus face of Krishna, like a chakori bird looking at the moon, looking up with eyes wide open to see the beauty of Krishna, eager to see that beauty of Krishna. She chews the betel nuts chewed by Krishna, Krishna's remnants of betel nuts, which were offered to her by the Sakis. She divides the betel nuts among the Sakis as well, giving out the Krishna's prasad. Desiring to hear the gopis speak freely together, Krishna now pretends to sleep. He wants to hear what they're talking about. So he's laying there pretending to sleep, but he's actually eavesdropping, wanting to know what they're saying, covered with a cloth, though he is wide awake. They joke for a while together, exchanging talks, but then they understand that Krishna is actually awake. Concluding this by looking at his face, they look at each other's faces. He's awake. They're seeing. Seeming to disappear out of embarrassment for a moment, they can say nothing. After a moment, they remove the cloth from his limbs. They say, "Oh, have you slept nicely?" They make him laugh, and they all laugh. O sage, in this way, the couple enjoys various jokes with the Sakis, experiencing the happiness of sleep for a while. Sitting on two attractive seats with their followers, expanding their joy, they play games such as throwing dice, gambling for a necklace or a kiss or an embrace or some piece of clothing. They play dice and praying, along with joking conversations. Though he is defeated, he does not admit that she has won. And so he tries to say, no, she has not won, I have won, making some lie. Then he tries to take her necklace, and she beats him. He's beaten by lotuses and her flower ornament, scolding him. "We have won. You have not won." With sad face, as if having lost everything, including himself, he says, "Oh, I have been defeated by you. Oh, goddess, you should accept what was wagered by me, the kisses." He does this in order to see her frown and hear her scolding words. "You have not won. You do not deserve any reward of kisses," like this. Hearing the saris and the parrots quarreling, they leave the place, desiring to return home. Taking permission from Radha, Krishna then heads for the cows, and she goes to the temple of the sun god with her Sakis. So Krishna returns to the cows, which he left with the cowherd boys, and Radharani, who has gotten permission to leave the home in order to worship the sun god, now goes off to the sun god temple to say, "Yes, I was there, I did my pujas there." After going some distance, Krishna turns around, and then he adopts the dress of a brahmana, and he goes to the sun god. He has another trick in mind. He said, I'll pretend I'm the priest there. So he dresses himself like a Brahmin priest. Requested by the gopis, he performs the worship of the sun god. By his ridiculous, concocted Vedic mantras, the perceptive gopis recognize this is Krishna. They drown in an ocean of bliss and do not know themselves or anyone else. They see that he's just come there and made a joke of it all, chanting various concocted mantras. O sage, after spending between 1 or 2 yamas, playing in various ways, that is 3 to 6 hours, they're playing in various ways, the gopis then go home and Krishna goes back to the cows. Vijay Kumar then asks, then what are the afternoon pastimes? So this all takes place in the morning. Now, what are the afternoon pastimes? Goswami says, meeting his friends, Krishna gathers all the cows and returns to Braj while playing his raised flute. Nanda and all the others, hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, seeing the sky spread with clouds of cow dust, which is thrown up into the air by all the movement of the cows, cow hooves and like that. They give up all their activities and they move towards Krishna because now they're eager to see him. Oh, Krishna has returned home. Krishna has returned home. So they all rush out to see Krishna. Even the women and the children go. Radha also returns home. She bathes herself, decorates herself, cooks various items for Krishna to eat later in the day. With the Sakhis, in great eagerness, she then goes to see her beloved. They go to the main at the entrance of Braj, where all the people of Braj are standing, the main road. At the entrance of Braj, where Krishna brings the cows home. Krishna meets everyone appropriately in order. He greets them by showing himself, touching them, glancing at them with joy, offering respects to the elders with his body and his words. O Narada, he falls on the ground before his parents and Rohini and greets the gopis with modesty by signals used by the edge of his eyes. He is worshipped by all the people of Braj in a suitable manner. He then leads the cows to their sheds. Requested by his parents, he goes with his brother, Balaram, to the house. After bathing and drinking and eating a little, and with permission of his mother, he goes to the cow sheds, desiring now to milk the cows. So he first brings the cows in. He goes and cleans up a little bit, eats a little bit, then goes back out to the cow shed to milk the cows. Then Vijay says, so now what are the twilight pastimes? Oh, after milking the cows, having others also milk cows, and having calves drink their milk, he goes to the house along with his father and 100 of milk carriers, carrying all the milk they have collected. He then eats various foods to be chewed and sucked along with his mothers and fathers, their children and Balaram. And the night pastimes? On the request of Yashoda, through a Sakhi, Radha sends some cooked food to Krishna's house. Krishna praises and eats these foods along with the elders. He then goes to the assembly hall, filled with panagrists and other performers who chant various mantras and other forms of entertainment. The Sakhis, the storytellers and like that. The Sakhis who have come to the house take the cooked food remnants, which are given profusely by Yashoda. The Sakhis take Krishna's remnants given by Yashoda, and they offer it to Radha in a solitary place. First, whatever the gopis collect, they bring to Radha first, of course. Then she distributes it outwards. She eats the food in proper order, along with the Sakhis. Decorated now by the Sakhis, she becomes joyful to meet Krishna again. Vijay Kumar said, oh, I desire to hear those late night pastimes. Radha sends some Sakhis to make an appointment, and she arrives at the Jamuna at the appointed place. With a group of Sakhis, dressed in cloths suitable for the moonlight nights or the dark nights, she goes to a finely jeweled house in a desire tree bower. Meanwhile, Krishna watches various amusing performances at his home. There's evening entertainment there. Hearing attractive poetry and songs. Pleased with the performers, with wealth and grains according to the rules called by some people, he goes with his mother to his bedroom. It is time to take rest, O Krishna. When his mother, having fed him, leaves unnoticed, going from the room, he sneaks out now, and he meets with Radha at the agreed place. Meeting, the two play in the forest at various pastimes, while laughing and dancing and singing. After spending about 5 hours at night in play, desiring sleep, they enter a bower with 5 or 6 Sakhis unseen. Served by the Sakhis, they remain sleeping on attractive pastime bed made of stemless flowers. O Vijay, these are the pastimes in the 8 parts of the day. In these are all the ingredients of ras. All the types of ras previously mentioned are found in these pastimes. understanding according to place, time, group, and relationship, you should mentally perform your service through these 8 portions of the day. Most learned Vijay Kumar, hearing all these topics, became absorbed in deep emotion. Tears flowed from his eyes and his hair stood on end. In choked voice, he spoke a few words and fell at Gopal Guru Goswami's lotus feet. Slowly rising, he then returned to his residence. Topics of Ras awoke in his heart day and night. Thus ends chapter 38, describing the Leelas of Radha and Krishna through 8 portions of the day. Chapter 39, we find that Vijay Kumar is eager to understand them more with the idea of not hearing from afar, not like he's hearing stories, but wants to know how he can absorb himself and enter into those pastimes in his meditation. Because sometimes when we're reading something, we're hearing about something and we're separate from that storyline. But in the process of Raganuga Bhakti, one wants to place oneself into those Leelas. What is our position there? What do we do? How can we serve Krishna? How can we serve Radharani? Like this. So the next chapter, chapter 39, describes all of this, entering into the pastimes of the Lord. Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Shri Radhe Shyam.